The lesson today, as we're going through this series of how to live as a warrior, is to look at this story, Gilgamesh. It's the oldest recorded hero's journey. Now, I went over the hero's journey a couple of lessons back, Joseph Campbell's work, and just a brief summary of that. The hero's journey is kind of circular. You're in the ordinary world where you're maybe bored, wanting to go on a new adventure, getting complacent, and you step across the threshold to be initiated through the new skill that you want to learn, the challenges, the trials, and then you step across the threshold to the return journey to give your skill back to the world, serve others, in other words. So, having said that, let me read just a few sentences of the prologue, and then I'll give some background of the story. He had seen everything, had experienced all emotions from exhaustion to despair, had been granted a vision into the great mystery, the secret places, the primeval days before the flood. He journeyed to the edge of the world and made his way back exhausted but whole. Read how Gilgamesh suffered all and accomplished all. So Gilgamesh is a strong man, okay, physically strong. He's the king of a city called Uruk in Mesopotamia. This is like 3,000 years ago, like before a recorded story before the Bible or the Iliad. So it's an old story. And so here we've got a strong man that's ruled by his ego, ruling over his people. He's not serving them, not concerned about their well-being. He's ruling over them. And he has a best friend, Enkidu, who is similar, strong, virily strong person. Well, we have things that happen in our lives that kind of shake us into a new understanding of how we interact with the world around us. And for Gilgamesh, it happens to be Enkidu's death. Okay, and death for Gilgamesh to observe his best friend, who's big and strong, die, uh, it shocks him. Okay, like it does for all of us. Death is a great equalizer. It equalizes all of us to be equally important or equally unimportant. Because it happens to all of us. We can't escape it. Yet Gilgamesh fears his death and wants to go on a journey to seek immortality. And obviously, that's a journey that's impossible, to achieve. Yet we all go in these kinds of journeys, don't we? Where we think that we gotta go this way and that we're going to be able to achieve this certain thing, and it ends up being illusory. Okay, so ultimately we have to go on these kinds of journeys, to learn how futile it is. Well, Gilgamesh goes on his journey, and he does find Utnapishtim, who tells him that, yes, Gilgamesh, there is actually a weed that grows at the bottom of the sea that gives immortality. Now, Gilgamesh is motivated. He's good diving into the sea, searching for it and searching for it, motivated to complete this quest, and finally finds it, comes back to the surface, and is really exhausted and carelessly falls asleep. While he's asleep, there's a snake that comes by that smells the sweet smell of the weed, eats it, and slithers away. And then when Gilgamesh wakes up, he laments his loss. He's doubting his ability to find any more of the weed, and he gives up his search. So essentially, what's going on here is Gilgamesh has a certain idea of what reality is, that he can achieve immortality. And life corrects that through experience, And so Gilgamesh basically hits bottom, realizes, that he's been going on this futile search, impossible search, and shifts his attitude, changes how he's going to move forward out of that being at the bottom. And what typically happens in these kind of traumatic events, happens to you, happens to me, it happens to all of us, is we get realigned with what's more important in life, okay, and a clearer understanding of who we are in this world and how we integrate into it. So what this moment did for Gilgamesh is it made him realize that he had this ego orientation, this external understanding of himself, this big, strong physical body in a position of power, and realized that he could not save that idea of himself. It's impermanent. It's going to die. So what happens is he gets a better understanding of who he is at his core. Like if we ask the question, "Who am I?" then we can get to the point where we get an answer, or we get at least pointed in a direction of getting a better understanding of what that is. And what that understanding is two things. One is the awareness that interpenetrates our physical body, this awareness that animates our physical, temporary, impermanent part. And then when we come to this realization from our internal journey, then we actually can focus more on serving the world. And this is what Gilgamesh does. He goes back to Uruk and serves his people. So all of the different life activities that we have, the journeys that we take, and it can be climbing, it can be relationship, your career, all of these different journeys that we take are really just external vehicles or a medium that we can go through for the internal journey that we take, to come to terms with who we are at our core, so that from that core we can serve the world better, and not from a fearful perspective of this impermanent part of us that is temporary, like the body, toward something that is more foundational and that persists beyond death. So this hero's journey, like we can practice this, in a very specific way, for a practice tip, in kind of the context of the hero's journey. So the ordinary world is like, okay, you're bored in the ordinary world, you want a new adventure. Well, how about picking a new Warrior's Way tool to practice? Okay, so you pick a tool, and let's say it's observing your behavior. And there are three specific behaviors that I found like really interesting to observe: frustration, rushing behavior, and stalling or procrastination. So you say, okay, I'm going to pick one of those, and it's better to pick one and just go deeper with that one practice, and you pick the others, next week or something. So pick a behavior and observe when you get frustrated. Observe when you rush, like rushing through stress to get it over with and get to the comfort again. Or if you're stalling out and procrastinating, notice the behavior and then shift toward a better behavior. So for frustration, you notice, oh, I'm getting frustrated, and then you shift toward curiosity. This is the initiation part of the journey, where you're doing the work, you're being initiated into this new skill. I notice I'm getting frustrated, I'm shifting it toward curiosity. I notice I'm rushing through the stress, trying to get the comfort again. I'm going to pause, slow down, and be present for and process myself through the stress. Okay. Oh, I notice that I'm stalling out, procrastinating. What's a small actionable step that I can take to begin getting this moving forward? So this noticing and redirecting to a better behavior, that's the initiation part. And then the return part of the journey is you apply it in an important relationship. It can be with your partner, it can be with climbing, or it can be with another a relationship that you is important to you to apply this, and you interact with this person or with the climb. Notice what the other person is saying, or how you're performing on the climb. What is it bringing out of you? Is it bringing frustration? Notice it. Shift it toward curiosity. Are you rushing through the climbing, through the stress, trying to get to the next comfortable stance? Are you rushing through the conversation instead of listening to the other person? Catch yourself. Shift it toward pause, slow down, listen, process yourself through the stress. Be present. Are you procrastinating, hard to get going on a climb, or you're not able to say anything, don't know anything to say? Then find a small actionable step that you can do. It can be asking a question like, tell me more about that. This is a way that you're in the return journey part of the hero's journey to apply the new skill in your life. All right, enjoy your practice with it.